my name is Dane Toney.
And these are some of the company members of dancers and musicians that we have at Attack Theater. Now, when the fabulous ETC organizers of Pittsburgh's TEDx this year contacted us and asked us to be one of the speakers on the program with a day-long program about experience, we collectively thought it would be ludicrous to just begin sitting passively, listening to people talk or watching people be experiential. So you know what's next. Put yourself down. But you don't need coffee or notebooks or anything for this, iPhones for this next moment. All I want you to do is just turn to the person next to you and just shake their hands. You're going to be sitting probably next to them for a while. If you don't have someone on one side, just turn to them and shake the next person's hands. Excellent. Now, what we do, can I ask you to shake someone's hand now, but stay there for a second. So if you need to rearrange, maybe go to a different row for a moment. If you don't have someone next to you, I promise you can have your seat back again. But I need everybody for a moment to be touching someone else. So if you don't have another person, Dave's up here, he's helping out. We have some folks on the side. Excellent. Oh, this is getting complicated. Okay. So then with the person that you're touching, I'm going to ask you to watch for 1 second. But in a moment, I'm going to ask you to stand up. And I want you to just try a very gentle lean away. Now, you could, if you want, it might be easier if you use 2 hands. The other thing is because you're so tight, you might need to orient yourself a little bit on a diagonal. But go ahead, and I'm going to say go, and see if you can stand up. I know you can do that part. And then, oh, this is complicated. And now go ahead and do a little bit of a lean away. Go ahead and do a little bit of a lean away. Excellent, you guys. And come back in. Now pause. The audience must go opposite of a way. Together. Towards. Beautiful. So do you mind if I use Jesse? So I'm going to use Jesse as my example. So opposite of what you did away, I'm going to ask that one person maybe puts their hands on the other person's shoulder and go ahead and lean towards me. Yes, and I'm going to take that. Nice, you guys. Just try to bring towards each other. And let's pause. Okay. Now here's where it's fun. The handshake obviously used what body part? Primarily. The hand, right? That's right in the title. So, one of the things as artists, as creators, as people who spend our lives trying to think of things that no one else has thought of before, why would we do a handshake with our hands? So what I want you to do now is do a wait away. I want you to do another wait away or wait towards, dancer's choice. But this time I'd like at least one of the 2 of you to not use your hands. So, for example, maybe we'll use our elbows. We could use our shoulders if we wanted to do a wait towards. We could use our shoulders. We could use, I hope these chairs are stable, hands. So go ahead with your partner and see if you can work together collaboratively. Either one, okay? The other thing that you've done is you've actually practiced, and let's go upstage just a minute. You've actually practiced something that the next thing that we're going to show you is based on. It's a physical principle called counterbalance. And of course, in its basic form, it was just a simple way. But one of our jobs is to continue to think about all the different ways that we can use the simple concept of counterbalance, but in different planes, with different body parts, and in different ways. This next work that you're going to see is a piece called Mobius. It actually is inspired by the idea of a Mobius strip. We didn't like the way that Mobius sounded for some reason, so we called it Mobius. I don't know. And it was originally premiered in Indonesia, in Surabaya and Jakarta in Indonesia on a tour a couple of years ago. I'm going to ask Dane and Liz to share with you Mobius, and then I'll be back in a second.
Sienta a la mesa y escribe. Con este poema no tomarás el poder, dice. Con estos versos no harás la revolución, dice. Ni con miles de versos harás la revolución, dice. Y más, esos versos no han de servirle para que peones, maestros, hacheros vivan mejor, coman mejor, o él mismo coma, viva mejor. Ni para enamorar a uno le servirán. No ganará plata con ellos, no entrará al cine gratis con ellos, no le darán ropa por ellos, no conseguirá tabaco o vino por ellos. Ni papagayos, ni bufandas, ni barcos, codos ni paraguas conseguirá por ellos. Si por ello fuera, la lluvia lo mojará. No alcanzará perdón o gracia.
So here's a question. How do you think, and granted we didn't have a control, you didn't see this dance another time before you walked in the door, but how do you think your visceral, kinetic experience that you had of this concept of counterbalance, as brief as it was, informed, affected your viewing that you just had of that work? Anyone want to share an observation or a response to that question? Yeah.
Yeah, we were probably watching for weights. We were saying, okay, I have an experience with that, and somehow I know how that might feel, so we're trying to put ourselves in the position.
Is that true? Because he was making a generalization for everybody. I see, I don't know. If that wasn't true about it, what do you think? You were the like, Or are there any people that would like to support and continue that observation or debate it? Yes?
I felt like the exercise awakened my sensitivity to balance a little more, and then in viewing the performance, I felt that part of it was much more connected to me.
So balance, excellent. What other things, what other physical or emotional or imagistic things did you connect with in that work that might have been in some way connected to the experience that you just had? One I heard was balance. Others, yeah?
I think for me there was also looking at the extremes, like what we end being a very limited version of that, and seeing what that same concept can be taken to.
Taking a not simple, but a singular concept, and where can it go? It starts with one place, one principle almost, but where can it be expanded? Excellent. What else? Is there? Yes, please.
That reciprocity and interdependence in the movement. That relationship.
So reciprocity, interdependence, that counterbalance, and especially dance like this, inherently exploits. A word that you just took you to was relationship. Does anyone want to talk about the more emotional relationship images that you might have received or felt from that work that you just saw? Yes?
I was struck by the relationship between, just getting the brief meeting here, but the whole relationship that each of you have to have with your own life. Because, to be able to move that way, it's beautiful, and the practice and just how in tune you are with your own physicality was cool for me.
Yeah,
because I'm not.
That's probably one of the biggest arguments for when we do a lot of work, not only of course in theaters and operas and symphonies and all over the world, but we do a significant amount of arts education work on all levels. And one of the arguments is, you can read all the books you want, and you can watch all the movies you want, and you can hear me wah 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 all you want. But to truly appreciate or have a different perspective of the technique, of course, I believe it must be experiential. You have to have some tangible experience. Any other comments? Is there anything that surprised you about the work that you saw? Anything that surprised you? Yes?
I had an emotional moment when, I don't know your names. Liz and Dane. When Liz was inverted, she was upside down. Dane was holding her like this, and she spread her legs out, and Dane had an expression on his face, and then you both went into this kind of.
I don't know if you can see how beautiful he is.
Anyway, so I was finally, because everything else was pretty staid, I was finally able to get an emotional sense from the expression, the physical expression.
Thank you. Thank you. These are excellent comments. Thank you. One of the interesting things about the work that not only we do, but is also very inherent to our art form, is that it is inherently collaborative. It's very rare that you're in a room by yourself creating a theatrical work of dance and music, in particular our connection with dance and music. We're very often working together with a small concept, whether it be a physical concept like this piece was, or whether it be an emotional concept. And very oftentimes we'll start, for example, with this one on a very almost abstract physical way, but what our job and what the fun is in that particular creative process is seeing when those physical things start to tell their own stories, as opposed to saying, okay, there's a boy and there is a girl, and we're going to do a piece about, that we do oftentimes create scripts and work from that direction as well. But this particular piece, the experience of this one, was starting from a more abstract place, and then it was our job to be keen noticers. It was our job to really appreciate and see what the piece was beginning to tell us, and then that led to the sculpting of the rest of it. So, if there's not any other final comments, I just wanted to say, enjoy the experience of today. I know there's a lot of amazing speakers and experiences that you're going to have. We are a TAC Theater. We're based here in Pittsburgh. You can get more information on the interdisciplinary work that we do in performances in site-specific places, in schools and universities by going to attacktheater.com. And enjoy. Thank you.